Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Xenodamus. I'm here with
Q.
And we're going to talk about some news and stuff. All right. What, man? I don't know.
How y'all doing out there, everybody?
Yeah.
If you're already at Pensacon, you're probably hearing this a little later.
Since we mentioned, most of our, I think, normal attendees to our live show are at Pensacon. So let's talk about Pensacon for a bit.
Or is it Pensa controversy?
Oh, who is that? AWFvoyager.com or something that posted this. I can't read it from
Slide up
from
for
my
us there.
angle.
It's uwfvoyager.com.
uwfvoyager.com. Anyway, so yeah, no. I mean, there's been a lot of news. We talked about it some last week about the whole Vic and everything, but Pensacon apparently had some threats that came out that weekend. So there was up security and stuff like that. Now that by itself was a whole bunch of controversy, but it's also a bunch of he said, she said. So
yeah, it's one of those situations where whatever side of it, because I mean, I got into an argument with a friend who was strongly on the other side of that. And
well, the
different info for different people.
There's also two different accounts on the sides of things too. There's the whole Vic and I guess Funimation, whatever you want to, and the accusers, that sides. But then there's this whole nother deal with between like Pensacon and
Geeks and Gamers.
Well, no, not that. That's still part of the whole Vic thing.
Yeah. Sadly.
This is with the artist guy. Anyway, the whole bomb threat thing was like apparently somebody. It's sad that Pensacon didn't report it or talk to law enforcement, and like one of the guest artists had called law enforcement, but then Pensacon released a thing saying they were working with law enforcement prior to that.
Like the dates didn't match up or something?
Well, no, I mean, it wasn't just that. Like, I don't know if it just didn't get to the FBI or if they're lying. I don't know. I can't say. Like I said, there's so many different sides to all this controversy with Pensacon, and it's all he said, she said, because there's no real concrete evidence one way or another that I could find. So,
I mean, that's what's made this such a train wreck. It's because it's like normally you wouldn't have to question somebody going, look, guys, we're worried about people's safety because there's a bomb threat. Normally, that would be a statement that's too serious for you to even consider it. But yet, like you say, you'll get contradicting stories, and you're like, wait a minute now. Is there a bomb threat? Was there a bomb threat and it wasn't reported?
Well, it was definitely it was definitely confirmed there was a bomb threat. That was now they did the Pensacon did come back and say that they would create safe spaces for protesters and stuff like that. Which, like I said, I think all this got way blown out of proportion anyway, because some people, were basically not happy with Pensacon because of their guest roster and the whole
certain
Vic
stances
and the whole Vic thing. And then it came to a bunch of comments on social media, which we talked about. We talked about this last week. Came to all the comments on social media, and then it went down to, just this constant bickering back and forth between all the different sides. And then apparently, bomb threat showed up,
Yeah, and then that went up because it's like a lot of weirdness around that. Because, I mean, I don't know, man. The more I looked into that bomb threat, the weirder it got. And I say weirder because I can't confirm. I don't have a stance on it because I've seen oddities on both sides. And basically what's going on these days is that social media has gotten out of control. Honestly, I'm going to say the same thing we said at the beginning.
I think it boils down to it's not that necessarily social media has gotten out of control. It's we've lost our sense of when I say we, in general, people have lost their sense of professionalism when it comes to social media. Mm-hmm. And it's all fun and games. Like, you see some companies that utilize the backing off of the and I think this is where things went downhill. Some companies used it as PR, so they took a step back and made a lot of jokes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But it was all scripted and pretty much planned.
And it was fun. It was just hey, we're having a little fun in social media.
And then I think people were like, oh, well, if Wendy's can talk crap about Burger King,
not knowing that Wendy's literally called Burger King and said, we're going to talk crap about you. Is that okay?
I don't know about that.
I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're not as hostile as you think. A lot of these companies who think are competing are fairly sociable.
But the thing was, those were very planned out releases. They weren't just somebody angrily talking about another company or something like that. It was like, oh, this is good, and it is actually good for both sides, because both sides end up being talked about. It's funny, people laugh, and then you get this advertisement for yourself, and it's almost like a rap battle, who was better,
Yeah. But like where I was going with it too is, like we said, the biggest issue I see with social media is that everybody is getting less professional across the board. But the worst part is that, like, I just can't believe I'm seeing large organizations, small organizations, and business owners getting so personal on their social media. And it's like, it used to be, what's your stance on this? Our stance is we're going to keep everybody safe. That would be all you'd hear. But now it's like they're, just like the letter that I told you about that got sent to Jeremy at Geeks and Gamers. Instead of it simply going, we've rescinded your media pass, and that's all it should have said, it goes into why and how we feel about the things you said. One of the comments says, well, since you said you don't care about our con, I guess you won't be disappointed. And I'm like, whoa,
I don't know. On that one, I probably would have been snarky too, man.
No, because here's the thing. You can't be like that half of the time.
If I throw an event and you say, I don't give a shit about Dicejunkies and their event, and then I'm asking to get free access and all that to the event, I'm probably going to say, fuck you too.
Well, honestly, I think if they had left it at just that you're not that concerned with your past, it wouldn't have been a big issue, but they kind of kept going.
Oh, no. I mean, some of the things I said I do agree, but I mean, like, you brought that
part.
Plus,
we're not professional.
You brought that part.
Yeah, well. Like, we're assholes, so of course we'd be like,
brought that part up specifically, and I'm just like, I don't think.
Well, no, I do, though. I mean, honestly, if we were running a convention, I would have a slightly different stance. If I'm going to rescind your press pass, I'm just going to tell you we pulled your press pass. Now, I might send you a separate email and call you an asshole, but it won't be in that email. You see, that'll be the business email, and here's the email where I call Jeremy an asshole. Yeah, but I wouldn't do that in the same email.
I think you're stretching there, but
no, I would, because like I consider business as business and pleasure. I think
given a reason for why you ascended somebody's press pass, I would prefer to know why, even if it's a dick move.
Separate email. Tell you why.
Oh, well, why are you going to fill up my email box with a bunch of emails and want to do?
Because I'm being snarky, because you pissed me off when you said you didn't like my con.
So all you're doing is trying to make it worse, not better.
Well, no, I'm being sneaky about it. Here's your email, and then a separate email that comes from a different account that he can't prove.
No. Anyway, so I've talked to several of our friends and stuff that have gone to Pensacon. So far, I have not heard anything going on this weekend. It seems like the con went by fine. There was lots of I heard there was a good number of people. We saw some pictures flowing in of some really good costumes and stuff like that.
Somebody did the new Doctor Who. That one shocked me.
I mean, I don't know why it would shock you. I mean, we've seen it at cons before she was even released. So
well, but that was before they knew how bad it was going to be. There's probably been some Captain Marvel cosplay, but once the movie comes out, that may change.
Oh, speaking of Captain Marvel, let's wrap this up, and we'll talk about Captain Marvel in a second. So anyway, haven't heard anything. I heard they created the safe spaces and stuff for protesters. I haven't heard of anybody even seeing protesters, so I don't know where they moved those safe spaces to.
Across the street at the Burger King.
Yeah, but it definitely seemed to be uneventful. We'll let you know after all the news comes in from this weekend, and once some of our people get back from Pensacon, we'll let you know.
Safe space is your couch at your house. That's what they told you. Your safe space is at home. That couch.
We'll let you know next week on if anything comes up that happened. But
it looks like
as far as this went, it was a big bit of drama. Whether it helped Pensacon to be in the news or hurt Pensacon to be in the news, I guess we'll find out over the next few weeks. And
everybody we know so far has had a good time.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I want to support anything that supports our community, so I want to hear that Pensacon did well. I'm not saying that if it didn't do well that we won't still cover it with our same apathy and lack of sensitivity, but I'm hoping it did well.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Captain Marvel, man. So Captain Marvel apparently has the lowest MCU record for Rotten Tomato score.
Yeah, but I mean they were bombed. They got a nasty review bombing.
It was obvious they were bombed. I mean the movie's not even out yet, but
45%.
Either way, it's definitely stirred up a bit of a controversy. If it's nothing but trolls or what, yeah, most likely. So, what is the Rotten Tomato score right now? Editor, can you pull up the Rotten Tomato score for that?
Let's see if it's changed. I mean, my thing is this. I've heard good things about the movie for some people. Now, none of them have been about Brie Larson. Being serious, most of them have been about the male actor
you talked
and the
to me
cat.
some about, yeah.
Yeah, like apparently people are loving the villain. They're loving the cat. They're loving Samuel L. Jackson. They're pretty much loving everything but Captain Marvel. But that doesn't make it a bad movie. I mean, hey,
yeah.
I mean, I've heard about it. Oh, wow. It is. Well, that's the wanted to see, but 34%. Ouch.
Yeah, tomato meter not available.
Oh, they pulled it. Jesus, Rotten Tomatoes, can you be a little bit less? Oh. It's gone. You can't see what the score is anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
This is the first time something like that's happened with them.
Oh, okay. So this is all. So it doesn't even have the critic score or anything.
No.
Nope.
That's weird.
I mean, was this breaking news? Did we catch them up? I mean, because the tomato meter was available before. Like, could you go back to our other page? Like, it was available, wasn't it? Didn't we have a picture of the tomato meter?
I don't know.
I thought it was slide down.
It just.
Wow. So I guess. Well, I've heard more than a few people say that Rotten Tomatoes is losing a lot of its veracity. Validity.
Well,
Validity, because they've kind of taken stances on things.
Getting rid of troll reviews is something they need to do. It's just hard to determine what is a troll review and what is not.
Well, actually, is it? Because if you're a site that's trying to find out that's supposed to represent how people feel about something, people apparently feel enough to go in there and bomb the movie
before they've even seen it, though.
That doesn't mean it's BS. You could put a disclaimer on there, but it does show people's feelings.
And I mean, from what I saw, I did see a screenshot at one point of some of the reviews that were hitting, and they weren't even about the movie, half of them.
Oh, no, his was a
random
review bombing.
stuff.
It's just, my thing is that when do you, I guess I'm getting in that weird freedom of speech zone of, well, why do you get to cherry pick which reviews you keep? Because then you're going to get into a whole other bag of worms when you start going, only the reviews we think are valid.
Well, no, I know it's an issue, and I don't think you should remove that score. Maybe you can have another score that says, removing possible troll or non-related reviews or something like that.
See, that still requires somebody going through and deciding what's legit or not, and somebody's going to grab one that was legit.
Well, yeah, no, it's going to happen, dude. But, I mean, to validate your scoring system, that's the problem. That you gotta sort of.
I mean, I thought that's why they had a separate critic score, because the critic score is not a review.
Well, the critic scores have always been the way
crap,
off.
Yeah. They don't match the audience at all.
I mean, you were talking about somebody talking about how there was too many white male critics or something earlier.
That was Brie Larson.
Okay,
that's why she's being review bombed.
Okay,
she's literally being review bombed because she's pretty much said, "I don't want to hear what these people think."
But yeah, I mean, how many of us really pay attention to the critic reviews anymore? Anyway,
oh, nobody.
And like, who decided that the I mean, if you look at Rotten Tomatoes, I mean, I've seen movies that have. I don't know what makes you an official critic versus just a.
If they like what you say a lot.
So.
I mean, I have admitted that the dissonance between the critic score and the audience score has always been dramatic. They've almost never been within even 10% of each other half the time. It's usually a massive, and lately it's been dramatic. Like Alita Battle Angel has like, you mind grabbing that for us from Rotten Tomatoes? Thank you, Michelle, editor.
It's right there at the top.
Has like a really good audience score.
Down there.
But like
movies.
Yeah, it's hit that 60% on the second row.
Alita Battle Angel.
And like the 94% audience, 60% critic.
Oh wow.
That is a massive difference. That is a movie that is beloved by almost every person that went to see it.
Average score 4.6 out of 5.
Average score
15,000 people have reviewed it, and it's gotten a 94% like it versus a 6 out of 10 average rating from critics.
Which shows that the critics seriously, 106 called it rotten out of the critics.
Out of the 262, so that means
almost half.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, two-fifths.
2/5. There you go. Good math. Yeah, 2/5 of the critics called it crap. Whereas, like, the average score amongst viewers puts it as one of the highest rated movies of the dang year. Dude, that's one of the higher scores, period. Look at the high scores.
But this is what I'm saying. I don't pay attention. Like, looking at this, I'm like, oh, I want to go see that movie. That 60% critic score, I don't even pay attention to that. That's why I don't like it when you have the trolls scoring and stuff like that, because I actually pay more attention to the audience score. And so when you have a bunch of trolls, that means The
problem is with the audience score, there's never going to be a real way to prove once the movie comes out who saw it.
Yeah.
I mean, we only know it's troll scores because we know all those audience members didn't get to the early showing. There's been people that got to see the movie ahead of time.
Maybe they should just lock the audience score until the movie comes out.
That's a smart idea. Well, but there are some people who get to see it who aren't official critics. So. I mean, I'd review more than one source anyway, but I just don't see how you can stop review bombing easily.
I mean, the other thing is you can do sort of like Amazon and some of the others I think have done, where they put more weight, or they throw a weight up where it's like, these are people who review a lot of movies. They're not just coming on here one time to bash a movie or something.
Oh, seniority. Yeah, you look at somebody who's done more than one vote instead of the bombing where a person signs on for the first time and does it. That's a good idea. Another one, no, this is too computerized. I mean, if they could get the votes for people as they're leaving the movie theater, that's the best time to ask somebody what they felt. But I don't know how you could get that set up to where, all right, you're walking out the theater, you can rate the movie on your way out the door.
Yeah,
especially because you're less likely to be influenced.
That's going pretty.
Yeah, but it'd be a hell of a lot more legitimate.
Yeah,
because you also can be influenced. You can get home and somebody can tell you a movie was shit that you actually liked, and slowly convince you didn't enjoy it as much as you did.
True.
Yeah, but how would you feel if you were getting ready to leave to go get something to eat and an usher comes by and says, "Can I get your opinion on this movie?" and you're starving?
Oh, no, man. It needs to be an app. It would need to be an app or something. Well, yeah, that too. No. No, it'd have to be an app, because we love playing on our phones. Yeah. And if you could actually be like, oh, I'm walking out of the theater, boop, and then your little app goes, you're at the Grand Malco. So, because how many people are going to be willing to review bomb to go as far as to go up to the theater right when a movie ends and stand in the lobby in order to give a negative score? If they're willing to do that, then they deserve to be heard. They deserve to be heard for their sheer dedication.
You have earned your right.
They spent gas and time in order to do that. That's too much effort for you to ignore their opinion.
All right.
Assholes unite.
Oh.
You would know.
Yes.
Let's see. What else
I do it. I'm an a-hole.
Let's talk about this. There's a Blade Runner comic coming out, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You go, and then I'll pop my theory of why this is happening. The one I told you.
Yeah, video has nothing to do with anything. So Blade Runner is there's this company. It's not a comic book company that I've had a lot of relationship with, but no, they're doing it. They're doing a comic book. I think it's based off the early film, the original film, in that world. And I don't know, man. Like I'm sort of looking at this, going, I think I wouldn't mind reading a Blade Runner. Like I miss that cyberpunk. I love cyberpunk stuff. So to have a comic that comes out in that world, I might check this comic out. But yeah, no, you had a good point with maybe they're theorizing.
I believe this is well planned. First of all, just a little more info. It's supposed to be released in the summer, and it is set during the time of the first Blade Runner movie. Mm-hmm. So not that sequel that mixed response.
I'm interested in the art too, man. I mean, I actually
like Shadowrun. I know
it does look very Shadowrun-esque. But I mean, Blade Runner was sort of Shadowrun-y
without the magic. Yeah. But basically, I believe that Cyberpunk is going to be a groundbreaking game. For those of y'all know, the Cyberpunk video game being done by, what's Red? What's the name of the studio?
Project Red.
Project Red.
CD Projekt.
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
There it is. Sorry. CD Projekt Red. I believe it's going to revive the cyberpunk genre, and I believe that these people also have caught on to that, and they're wisely going, we want our comic to come out around time to get in on that cyberpunk.
Yeah, because everyone's still
craze.
thinking that Cyberpunk is going to come out this year, so around September-ish or so.
And imagine if somebody plays the game, gets into this new genre, and goes, I want to see some more stuff. Hey, Blade Runner comics out. So I think they're literally planning this because they're going, we think Cyberpunk's coming back. I hope it is.
I'm still hoping to see I'm hoping to see the maybe Cyberpunk come back to the tabletop RPG realm, man. Like I would love to.
Of course, it's going back. Like this is literally Cyberpunk. The game is a love letter to. You think they've made tabletop off of crappier stuff?
Yeah.
We quite literally are planning to go check out The Witcher tabletop.
We still don't know if the game's going to be good or not. From what I've seen, I'm very interested, and I'm hoping this revitalizes that genre because it's a genre that I've always been interested in. And so far, most of the games based off the genre have not been that great. The Shadowrun game was decent.
The video game?
Yeah,
I prefer the
but
Cyberpunk
it was more of an RTS type, and
what's that game that Damien loves?
XCOM.
It was like the XCOM
it was
style,
a mixture
without
of like
the coolness of
XCOM.
XCOM.
It was a mixture of like XCOM and Baldur's Gate. So it had the RTS mixed with a little bit of that tabletop.
Like, I wish it played like the new XCOM games. The new XCOM games, I've watched Damien play them, and their tactical combat looked amazing. Mm-hmm. And the Shadowrun games, they are older, but they didn't have that polish that the last few XCOM games
I would have rather
had.
seen it go either full RTS or full tabletop RPG type or full RPG style of game versus that sort of mixture of RTS RPG. It left a little bit wanting.
While you're calling out for the tabletop, I'm calling out for the return of the movies and stuff. Like, I loved the original RoboCop and a lot of the other movies that came out that used to have that cyberpunk feel. They were always, even the bad ones, even the B-movie ones were still fun to watch because it's just such a, outrageous style and over the top. And I want to see more of it because it's fun. It's almost always entertaining.
I don't know if I'd call RoboCop a cyberpunk.
Dude, Detroit was pretty, especially the sequels. Like, it was pretty It wasn't full out all the way up there, but I mean, it was like the first dredges of it. Do you forget the scenes in the streets? It was freaking wild. I mean, you might as well call the like RoboCop's the Precinct Lone Star. I mean, that was like early. You know what? It's the prequel to Lone Star. There you go.
Okay.
Shadowrun shout out. But yeah. So I mean, just good. But like I said, I want to see more of those because honestly, I'm bored with what's out now, and I would like to see like that genre become big again because I'm getting tired of the crap.
Oh no! Like I fell in love with the genre back from the tabletop though. Like back in my early teens, I played Cyberpunk. So
okay, I gotta admit, man, the first time you built it, who didn't build their first character with a horrible like cybernetic arm packed full of secret weapons? Like that was like the first build for all of us. Was this arm has like as much stuff as I can pack into.
Oh
it.
no, you sort of tried to go with the Inspector Gadget. Just like how much stuff can I cram into my body?
I always did the one arm. I started out light. I did. This is the arm that stops all. This is the God arm. It's got everything.
I don't think Cyberpunk was quite built as much for the one arm as like
Shadowrun.
Shadowrun was built for the one arm.
I have vibro claws. My arm can hack stuff. It's got
the ultimate super arm that does everything is definitely
I forgot you and that bullcrap character you built. He built a character with a single cyber arm that was the most powerful character in the party. Because the arm was just that far over the top. It was Spade was a gumshoe detective, noir, very cool, alcoholic, did it right. But he had a cyber arm with an agility of like 9 and auto shoot program. So his gun could fight while he was unconscious. He'd be out drunk. His arm just wins the fight on its own.
Pistol, and
it's like that anime with the dude with the clown, and he has that one demon arm that can fight on its own. I forgot the name of it.
And then he could go back and review all the footage because of his cybernetic eyes.
Yes, you put everything in it. I think you were eventually going to get a camera and arm so that you could literally close your eyes and the arm still records. Yeah, he had detective vision. That was smart, though. I can't believe nobody decided to build a detective with the Batman Arkham Asylum detective vision.
The thing is depending on which version of the vision he was using, he could technically see through his eyelids. So.
Oh, yeah, he had that. So Cyberpunk, get your cyberware up, man. Shadowrun's got you beat on cyberware at the moment. But you got him beat on style. The game at least, because that game looks like orgasmically good. I'm afraid I'm going to get lost in that game, though. That looks like that's takeoff from work.
Yeah, the Cyberpunk is like one step. It's a step back from fantasy that Shadowrun has, but it's a step
heavy
forward
fantasy,
in that punk, like high crime.
Remember the freaking demo? I was like, I'm in trouble because the first few things that the person went through, I was like, I would have shot so many of these people. My story would have probably ended there because like this guy walks up to it, bam, bam, bam. And I just see like I get the impatient ending. You have already shot every major story character.
Well, I mean, from the way they talked about it, it sounds like that may actually be an option. So,
dude,
not ending the game by doing that, but starting off a story quest because you killed everybody.
And remember Dragon Age Origins and those games where when you would play it, you'd be like, "Ooh, I want to try this now." I think Cyberpunk's gonna have crazy replay through of people wanting to do that. And speaking of well-written games like Dragon Age and all of that, we got a little hearsay. Do you want to talk about it? Because we might review it later. Our eyes were caught by...
you're talking about the... Yeah. Well, let me say one last thing while we're on the Cyberpunk field, and then we'll move over to that.
Beep.
Yeah, I know. The problem, the one problem that Cyberpunk is going to have is it is so hyped with so many big fans of the genre that if it messes up, it will literally cause hatred for CD Projekt Red. Like if it doesn't get close to delivering what
I agree, but I think that people are a little more realistic. While there's a lot of hype, I think when the game comes out, people will roll into it fairly reasonable. There used to be a time the hype was a big issue, but after the heartbreak we've experienced recently with those people that used to make that series of games that I love so much, and then they did 76. So it's no longer subtle. I've got it. After the heartbreak there, I think as long as they don't poop in my cereal, they don't. As long as they don't give me something and it pops up and goes, "Would you like to download an experience booster?" I'll be okay with CD Projekt Red. And they've said that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, yeah, no. So we had saw this, talking about BioWare and stuff. Dungeons and Dragons campaign setting. It's a third-party campaign setting. I had not really kept up with this, but it's a company called Arcanum Worlds, and they just recently released their first third-party setting for Dungeons and Dragons. And
Odyssey of the Dragon Lords.
The people that are doing this, the games that, like, all of them were video game developers, and they did games like KOTOR, Mass Effect, Baldur's Gate.
No. Wait a minute, hold on. Mass Effect 1 and 2. Baldur's Gates 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Dragon Age Origins.
Yeah.
Dragon Age Origins.
So some of the games that had the best stories in the gaming industry, the people involved in that are involved in this D&D setting. So this is something. It's apparently it's available on Drive-Thru RPG. You can get a free player's guide there that's like 28 pages to sort of give you an idea. But we'll probably buy the full book, and this is something I figure I'm going to do a review on because it definitely looks interesting.
And,
you want to tell them about the actual setting?
Yeah. It's themed after Greek mythology. The world's called Thalia, where there's centaurs, cyclopses, and other monsters along with the civilized races. Mm-hmm. There's going to be 2 new races in there, a variant version of centaurs and a new satyr race. And it's going to follow the concept of you having epic paths where you're basically pulling off the Greek hero story. So it sounds like you're playing Greek heroes or, potential Greek heroes, which is going to be a lot of appeal to people like me who like Greek mythology. And, the concept of going from zero to hero. Yes, I did that bad joke. Disney just defunded us. They claimed our credits because I said that one word.
Yeah.
But no, I like it. I mean, epic style, Greek mythology. It sounds good. These people write great stories. All of the people on this project are veteran writers.
Scroll down a little more for us. They have some of the guys, and here we go. Like Neverwinter Nights, Dragon Age Origins, Baldur's 1 or 2, Knights of the Old Republic,
Shadow of Revan, Knights of the Fallen Empire from Star Wars: The Old Republic. These are some good writing points, man. The good Mass Effects.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 2. So a lot of people involved in this. I'm definitely going to check out this project. And like I said, sort of be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page because we'll definitely hit this up and post up a video about what we think about it.
Oh, yeah, I'm snagging this for the week's out easily, for the next week's out. Like, I'm already planning on going out and getting a copy of it just because even if I decide to just absorb the setting, because if it's a really good setting, you know me, I convert the crap out of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I might end up using it in a bunch of systems because honestly, a well-written setting stands on its own.
Oh, yeah.
And this should be a well-written setting.
All right. Well, I think for the news, that's all we have. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe. If you're watching us live here on Twitch, we'll be following this up with our Random Encounters episode. And you can join us every Sunday at 3:30 live on Twitch. Join us in the chat room, stuff like that. If you're watching this on YouTube or some other media, be sure to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, leave us comments. And you can check out more on Dicejunkies.com.